G of negative 2 means you're plugging in negative 2 for the x and simplifying. F of negative 3 means you're plugging in for the x. Watch the negative 3 squared, that's a positive 9. And then when g of x is equal to 5, then you're plugging the 5 in for the g of x. And then you're just solving. Don't forget the plus or minus. F of x is equal to negative 8. You're plugging in the negative 8, solving it. Algebraically, put them equal to each other, solve, and you find the x's where they're the same. Plug each one back into one of the equations, and you'll find the y's. Make a table, and you can graph the parabola. Use slope and y-intercept for the line. We're just getting it equal to 0 and factoring. So I pulled out the common factor of x. That'll give me the 0. Factor this part. And then that's how I got those two answers. And get it equal to 0. Pull out the 2. 2 doesn't give you anything. So these give you your two answers. Quadratic formula. Watch out for the negative times a negative. Gives you a positive. And getting it equal to 0. Domain is your possible x value, so my lowest x value is negative 5. My largest one is infinity. My lowest y value is negative 4. And my highest y value goes all the way to infinity. So you could write it or not. Domain, smallest is negative 4. Largest x is 6, but it can't equal 6 because of the open circle. And negative 5 for my range, which is my y values. Then my highest y value I can have is up here at 5. Many people struggled. Common denominator is 6x, because 3 can go into 6x, x can go into 6x, and 6 can go into 6x. So then I just multiply 6x times 1 divided by 3, and that's how I got the 2x. 6x divided by x is 6 times the top. And then 6x times the top divided by the bottom gives me x, and it's just a regular equation from there. SOHCAHTOA, I have adjacent over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of that, when you solve this guy, multiply by x on each side, and then you would end up with an x there, and this guy would be gone. Divide by cosine of 15. So it's 8 divided by the cosine of 15. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I got that equation. And sine is the opposite over hypotenuse. Depreciating, that means it's going down in value. So I take 100% and I minus the 10.5%, and I get 89.5%. Make that as a decimal by going 0.895. And in 10 years, you raise it to the 10th, since that's every year. 3 years ago means negative 3 is my exponent now. Arithmetic means it's increasing like a line. So I found the slope, I found the y-intercept, and then I just plugged in 10 because that's what t of 10 means. If it's arithmetic, you're adding or subtracting something. Here we're adding 30. So this one would have to equal 70 because 40 plus 30 gives me the 70. Add 4 to both sides, divide. That's how I get the 37. Geometric means you're multiplying. So I multiplied by 4 to get to 40. Multiply by 4 again, I get 160. Then just solve it. So it's increasing by 30 each time, and it started off at 10. Start off at 10, and I'm multiplying by 4 each time. New problem for the week. You have this much money, that's your initial value, and it pays her this annual interest quarterly, so I have to divide it by 4, and I get 0.8. Add that to 100%, and you get 100.8%. as a decimal is 1.008. So that's my multiplier. Years ago means it's negative exponent, and then 4 quarters every year, so I have 4 quarters every year in 4 years, so that's 16, so negative 16. 10 years, 4 quarters times 10 is 40, and that's what I'd have.